Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Thank you for being here. I wanted to pop on for a few minutes because I was on earlier. We had the High Vibe Nation show tonight, and I was with Sherry Gideons and Christy Whitman and had the most amazing time with her. And one of the things that we touched on this evening was this idea of just illusion and how we kind of perceive the world around us, and to us that is reality, because that's really, that's what we can touch, that's what we can feel. It's the easiest thing for us to experience. And so that, ultimately builds so much of what we see as being real. But I want to just kind of pose something to you, because I read something earlier today, and I've shared with you guys some in the past from A Course in Miracles, and lately I've been really kind of digging into it a little bit deeper, and there are just some really powerful things that have been coming up. And today when I was reading, one of the things that came up was from the lesson of the day, and it says, I am not a body. It says, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And I really love that, because it's so true. We came here, as spirits. We didn't come here as bodies. Although, we got one along the way, because it would be tough to have an experience here without one, right? So that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we can have this physical experience, and what that represents. It means we can hug people. It means that we can go to amusement parks. It's all these things that we get to appreciate and enjoy about the physical experience, which is really amazing and wonderful. And yet at the same time, at the core of who we are spirits. And I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, because this idea of us being a spirit really can give us so much freedom. And I'm curious, what freedom means to you guys. I think, I remember several years ago, one of my cousins asking me, what does freedom really mean to you? And I had to kind of stop and think about that, because it was really a question I had never asked myself. And so, maybe just ask yourself, what does it really mean to me? What does freedom really mean to me? And what does it mean to be free? And I think, to me, it's hard to really know what it means to be free if we don't know who we really are and why we're really here, and what purpose we serve in the world. Hi, Cindy, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. And so I just kind of challenge you to explore that a little bit. What is it in your experience that equates to freedom, and how do you cultivate that in your life? And for me, again, going back to this idea of I am spirit, because really what that does is it detaches me from a lot of the things that in the physical world might limit me. And so, it's so easy, and this is something we talked about on the show tonight too. It's so easy to limit ourselves and to have these ideas of who we are, who we aren't, or what we can do or what we can't do. And so I think it's really powerful for us to be able to observe that, just to look at it and to see it for what it is and acknowledge it. And then to realize, is that something that's really bringing me freedom? Is that really moving me in the direction that I want to go? Is that really allowing me to experience what I want to experience? And so as I read this, I just thought, I really wanted to share it, because the other part that kind of went along with this for me was the affirmation that came to me today out of my affirmation cards. And I thought it was just so fitting, because the affirmation was, I am miracles. And I really loved that, because I thought, what a contrast, right, to just being limited in an earthly sense or in a physical sense, and to really be able to be in that space of being able to create, being able to experience miracles. And I remember a couple of years ago, I guess it was right before 2019, I decided that I was going to kind of create a theme for my year. And that theme was a year of miracles. And it was just that, 2019 really was just that. And it really taught me what it meant to have an intention and to hold that intention, and then to remain in that space, even when, maybe I couldn't see what was manifesting. I couldn't see what was happening. I couldn't see what was coming. I just believed it. Now, I have to back up a little bit and say I didn't just start in 2019. There was a lot of groundwork. But I think that when we even start laying that groundwork, when we even start taking the steps in that direction and really starting to recognize who we really are, who we really come here as, and what that means, what does it really mean to be a spiritual being? What does that entail? What do we embody? And to me, that's miraculous. I think it's so miraculous, the way that we're created, the way that we're designed, and we're created, we're just like a little fragment, right, of the miraculous. We're the miraculous showing up in our own unique way, in our own unique form, and our own unique representation, and then putting that out into the world in that way. And so I think that's just such a beautiful and amazing thing. And so I just wanted to come on for a few minutes and share a little of this out and, give you guys the opportunity to just sit with that idea, sit with the idea that you are miraculous. And what does that really mean? And I love this. Cindy says, absolutely. We are spirit with such powers we have no idea how much. I couldn't agree more, Cindy. And, that's what's so incredible, is that we get to explore that for ourselves. We get to really sit with that and envision what that means for us, and start to let that cultivate in our own lives and to, nurture it. I know Cindy grows, she grows a garden, and I think it's such a great analogy because, you can't just stick a seed in the ground and expect that to grow up and be whatever it's supposed to be without taking care of it, without tending it, without giving it some water, some sunlight, some love, right? And we have to do that for ourselves too. There are things that we have to cultivate in our lives. And doing that is sitting with who we really are and really understanding what that is, and then appreciating that, being grateful for who we have been created to be, and the opportunity to share that out with others. And then by doing so, encourage them to do the same thing. Because that's really ultimately the best kind of experience we can all have, is for everyone to show up and really be who they were intended to be in this experience, in this life, and to have the freedom to do that. So I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Cindy, for your words of wisdom. Love that you shared those out with us, and such a joy to be here with all of you this evening, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night, everyone.